The boy that I want to couple up with is Zane.
The girl with who I want to couple up with tonight is Mimi.
I don't get how people are territorial. I don't get it. I really don't. I wish they would include a new clause whereby you can only couple up with someone prior to Casa for a week and that's it. Because people are playing mind games. They come in, they find someone that they feel like is after the same track as them, and they choose to couple up with that person and ride it to the very end. People like M and Taylor, their connection is not that strong for them to be refusing to kiss someone in a game. People like Hannah and Nico, that connection is not that strong for them to pretend like they're the married couple. I think everyone wants to be the old married couple in the villa because there's always that couple that are together from day one. And I think this is the game that people are trying to play. And Zanti, you're my girl. I love you, but the crying, please stop. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's your girl Valerie. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, share, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Love Island Australia, Season 6, Episode 7. Mimi is just smiling for my liking. I'm nervous. Anyway, so Mimi comes back from her date. She comes back with Steph and she's all giddy and smiley. And it's like, this guy is going to break your heart. He really is. Yes, he looks athletic. Yes, he's taller than maybe Dylan, but Dylan is still a better match for you. This is not going to end very well for you. This is not going to end well, and I can foresee tears. All the girls, you can see the ecstatic. Sophie is actually salivating. You can see it dribbling down the sides of her mouth because she's excited. She really is excited. Hannah is trying not to show it because Hannah obviously knows she's more secure in her couple with Nico than she is trying to sort of change gear and go to somebody else. The fact that the girls were like, oh, are you not hot? Are you not hot? And Steph immediately took off his coat tells you that Steph is a player. He is got player and F-boy written all over his forehead. And I don't know why the girls don't say it. Sydney came with Dylan. They were more reserved. Sydney was telling everyone, I'm from the US. I think she expected them to know her, but sadly they didn't seem to recognize who she is, or maybe they were told to downplay it by the producers. And so she sat with the boys, had a conversation, told them she was on the previous season. She was on season 5, if I'm not mistaken. No, season 4. She was on season 4 because season 5 was Destiny's season. Yeah, she was on season 4. She did tell them that she found love because she did live with Isaiah. So she believes in Love Island. It's just things didn't work out with Isaiah. I don't know what happened with them. I didn't follow them after the show, so I have no idea. And so she sort of she explains that, she is looking for someone who's smarter than her. That's it. That's her type. All she wants is someone that's smarter than her. She is sharp. She can't say she's smarter, but she knows she's sharp. The girls are asking Steph, who's your type? Or who's your top 3? And Steph says it's Mimi, Sophie, and Hannah. And it's like, this is going to end in tears because even if Sophie is interested, she can't sort of override Mimi. She's going to take a back seat and wait for Mimi to make a move. Or if Mimi says she's not interested, then Sophie's going to make a move. But poor Indigo is in trouble. You have them sort of, the girls go away and Mimi's telling the girls because she's excited and she's over the moon that, she really likes this guy. She really had an amazing date and things went very well. Dylan is busy showing Sydney around the villa and Sydney is asking, where is your bed? I think Sydney, if she has to pick, looking at the guys that are available, she might end up going with Dylan. I have a feeling that the producers are going to try and split Mimi and Dylan and sort of say, Steph, take Mimi and Dylan be taken by Sydney, which I don't know how that will play out. I don't think that's a good idea, but anyway, what can we do? Mimi was telling the girls that she had an amazing time. She really likes him and, she can see, something growing. And it's like, I don't think so. This guy is going to make you cry. If you haven't cried, this guy is going to make you cry because he's going to play you and you're going to wish you had stayed with Dylan. I like the fact that Dylan called her for a check-in. So they sat down, had a check-in and sort of to see where they are, how their dates went and what they think moving forward. And I think they both recognize they're open to getting to know other people, which they should be, because the problem with Love Island producers is the moment you shut yourself down, they're going to bring someone that's your type to try and throw you off your game. So I guess if they're smart, they can just play the game and just pretend to be open and get to know the two new bombshells and then take it back from there. You have M and Taylor having a conversation, and I didn't like that. I think they're pretending. They're now becoming too much. I think there's a lot of play acting in the sense that they want security, so they're going to pretend as though they're the strongest couple when they're not. The fact that they were saying that we're not interested in anyone else, we're happy where we are. And it's like, okay, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out. You have the islanders come down for their drinks. They're ready for the night because the girls were asking Sydney about, her season while they were getting ready and how long she waited before she watched it. Anyway, during the toast, you have Hannah sort of implying that everybody should get to know one another, but she's not interested. And it's like, girl, this guy nearly made you cry about Sophie, and he's the one you think is going to keep you in this villa. You're going to find yourself on the next flight following your friend Alicia if you're not careful, because I have a feeling that if Sydney shows interest in Nico's head is going to be turned. So after drinks, you have Steph pull Sophie for a chat. We all know Sophie was interested. Sophie was interested in Steph from the moment she saw him. The only reason why she wasn't willing to pursue anything or she wasn't going after him was because Mimi had said she likes him. And the problem is Mimi and Steph are friends. And because they're friends, Sophie's trying not to tread onto Mimi's toes. But at the end of the day, this is Love Island. You have to go after what you want. You can't sit there and just wait for someone to make a choice. And you could see that Steph has got game. He's got riz. He knows how to get the girls and he knows how to make them uncomfortable. Not in a cringy way, but he knows what to say and what to do to make a girl, want more. Because you could tell by the look on Sophie's face that she was smiling. I haven't seen her smile like that. Even when she was speaking to Zayn, she was blushing. She was uncomfortable. And you could tell that she really was interested in him. I think the producers still want her to be part of the triangle with Zayn. This is why she said, I still need to have a conversation with Zayn. I'm currently in a couple with Indigo, but she's very open to getting to know Steph as long as Mimi is not interested. That's the impression that I get. And what do I think? I think Steph should go for Sophie. That's the person he wants. That's the person he's interested in. And that's the one he should go after. That way, Mimi can stay with Dylan, because I don't think Mimi likes Steph as much as she's putting on, because you could see her in the background sitting with Dylan and having a conversation, and it's like, what are they talking about? We need to hear exactly what they're saying, because at the end of the day, they've both had conversations with the god and goddess, so we want to know, are they wanting to jump ship or are they happy in their current couples? I want to know what happens with that. You had Sydney have a conversation with Zayn. And this is the first time I've actually heard Zayn talk. I don't know whether it's because he's very comfortable now, because it's been a couple of days in the villa, or whether he's really interested in Sydney. But he really was very bubbly and giggly, and he was joking. And it's like, oh my God, the only other person I've seen him try to do that with is Zanti. And poor Zanti is now in trouble, because if at any point you have Sydney steal Zayn, then Zanti might be going home. I don't know what will happen to her. What do I think? I think Sydney needs someone who's calm like Zayn, because Isaiah was too much for her. That's why they were very toxic. So I think she needs someone who's a bit calmer. That way we get to see her more sort of calmer side, and we get to see her growth. She said she liked the fact that Zayn made her laugh. She liked that, he was very, well, he just made her giddy. He made her laugh, and she seemed very happy with him. So that's what she seemed to like the most about him. Zanti, they were showing clips of her, and she looked very nervous. She looked very nervous and very anxious. I think she's worried that if Sydney steals, Zayn, then she might be going home. You had the boys. Well, you've got Nico, Indigo, and Taylor having a conversation, because Indigo is worried that Steph appears really interested in Sophie. And it's like, what do you expect him to do? He's a bombshell. His job is to come in and break up a couple, and that's what he's going to do. So if it means you, sadly, and Sophie are going to break up, then that's what it is, because he has to establish a connection with someone. The purpose of a bombshell is to come and break up a couple. And so if he breaks the two of you up, then that is said. I said it before and I'll say it again. Yes, Indigo is handsome, but he's not the type of guy that most girls are looking for. I know Taylor was saying to him, oh, you have to be confident in yourself. Don't try and be anything. You can't try and be Steph. And it's like, he will never compete with Steph. Whoever Steph chooses or sets his target on, he's going to get it. And sadly, Indigo cannot say anything because he doesn't have as much riz, or he doesn't have as much sort of likability factor or attraction factor that would sort of sway the girls. You had the girls, Hannah and Sophie, having a conversation about Steph, and they're sort of saying Steph is interested, and Sophie's saying she's sort of conflicted because she's stuck in between sort of a triangle of guys. She's in a couple with Indigo, but she's also interested in Zayn, and she's also interested in Steph, and it's like, leave Zayn alone. Leave Zayn. Zayn should either stay with Zanti or you should stay with Sydney. I don't think Zayn is it for Sophie for where she is. She said she's moving on. She needs to move on and leave this guy alone. So you have poor Indigo go and pull Sophie for a chat, and it's like, oh my God, it's now desperation to stay in the villa. It's not because you have a connection. So you have Indigo go up to Steph, ask Steph for a chat. And what does he do? Instead of talking to her, he decides to kiss her. And it's like, make it make sense. This can either go one of two ways. This can work in your favor or work against you. Because if the kiss is not that good, then she's going to be put off and realize that actually you are not it for her, and she's going to move on to somebody else. So I don't know why you decided to do this, because she was taken aback and she kept asking, what the hell? What the hell? She couldn't understand why he came in and just sat down and wanted a kiss. He ran back to the guys to sort of say to the guys, well, I got a kiss. And it's like, yeah, but what did that change? What really did that change? Because when the girls came back and were asking Sophie what happened, because the thing is, Hannah and are very close friends with Indigo, and I think Sophie was trying to make sure that she doesn't say anything bad that they might take back to him. They were sort of asking her, what happened? How was the case? Did you get fanny flutters? And she said, I was so shocked, I didn't know. And it's like, nah, there was nothing, because if there was something, she would have felt it. And because she said he kissed her passionately and she is not confused, she's confused as to whether she felt something or not, that already tells you that she didn't feel anything for this guy, and he just wasted an opportunity of getting to know her by going in for a kiss because he's been ill-advised by Taylor. I don't know what made him think that Taylor was the best, forum of advice, because Taylor is saying, oh, this is you've done yourself a favor, this is very good, you've done it. And it's like, nah, I don't think so. I don't think he's done himself any favors. In actual fact, I think he might have actually put her off. And so I don't know how that's going to play out. You then have the Islanders receive a text message, because there was a text message that came in earlier. I think I could edit this show better than whoever's editing it, because when I saw it, I thought it was a mistake, but actually it is a message that is actually come through, whereby you had Zanti receive a message to say, the gods can recouple at any time they want to recouple. So prior to Steph and Sydney making a decision, you had them sitting at the fire pit and sort of asking each other, which are your top two? Sydney said her top two was Zayn and Dylan. Surprised? No. For Steph, he said his top two were Mimi and Sophie. But you could tell from his conversation that he really liked Sophie, so I wasn't surprised. Anyway, a text message comes through to say, the gods have decided to recouple, so can everyone gather around the fire pit? They gather around the fire pit. It's revealed that one of the gods has decided to sort of recouple, and Steph immediately stands up and he says he's not shy at all, is he? Because he says, I don't like being single, and so I don't like staying on my own, so I've decided to recouple. And Mimi was saying if he chooses her, she would be happy, but she would feel bad for Dylan because obviously she would want him to be in a couple. So Steph chooses Sophie. Am I surprised? No. I think his conversations with her were actually way better than his conversation with Mimi. Mimi seemed very happy, but it didn't seem romantic. It seemed more romantic with Sophie. So I'm not surprised that he decided to go with Sophie, and I hope they stay in a couple. He's a better choice for her because Indigo has just showed lack of maturity by allowing other people to coax him into doing something that he wasn't comfortable with. So Sophie has a conversation with Steph and lets him know that I'm happy you picked me, but I just want you to know that I'm not 100% decided on where I land, because I also am interested in sort of having a conversation with Zayn. I was in a couple with Indigo, so I don't know where that's going. And it's like, okay, I get you need to leave your door open, because with Steph, whoever walks through the gate, even Sophie, the presenter, he's most likely going to make a pass at. So I get you wanting to not to put your eggs in one basket, but it's going to be a struggle for you if you decide not to commit to Steph, and then everybody else turns their heads and moves on away from you. The islanders are called to play a game, so they gather around the fire pit. It's a ping pong game where you had the names of the islanders written on cups, and then you had to bounce the ball, and whichever sort of pot it landed in, that's the person you're going to take into a wardrobe and kiss. I think they just wanted to sort of mix things up and sort of get people more comfortable. It seems it's very awkward. The editing is not doing this show any favors, and I really don't know who's editing. I could have edited it better. Anyway, first up, it's Indigo. He gets Sydney. They go in. They share a cute little kiss. I don't think Sydney is feeling Indigo. I think she feels he's too young for her. That's why she just gave him a small peck, and she said that's enough because that's it. Dylan and Mimi, well, they were next. Dylan, was able to get Mimi, and they went, oh my God, they went to town because apparently this is their first proper kiss that's not been rushed. And Mimi loved it. She got the flutters, you could tell. Dylan was very happy. Little Dylan was even more happy than, and it's like his shot is not doing him any favors. And then we had Steph. He bounced his ball and it landed on Mimi. And it's like the producers are doing this on purpose because they went for a kiss and she said it was a very good kiss as well. Well, the French are known for kissing. And she said she got the flutter. Well, she didn't say about the flutters, but it seemed she might have had just a little bit, and she was excited. Sydney got Nico. She said he was cute. They haven't spoken before, so she gave him a little peck, and it is what it is. It was just an icebreaker. I think this game was meant to be an icebreaker and also to create drama because they know that there are some toxic girls in the villa. Next up was Taylor. He got Hannah, and they were sort of doing like a sketch show where they would kick open the door and pretend to be doing something and then shut it and then do it again. So they didn't kiss at all. But then Steph picked M and he kissed M. M agreed to a small kiss, and she said she liked it. Well, Taylor was sat there saying no, she's not going to kiss him. She's not interested in kissing him. She's not interested in him as a guy. And it's like, she's only saying this to you because she knows you're the only person at the moment who can keep her safe in the villa. The moment she finds someone else to keep her safe in the villa, M is going to leave you. You were warned by Alicia, but you didn't take it seriously. It is what it is. Sydney went in with Taylor. Taylor refused to kiss. He said, he wants to be loyal to his girl. And it's like, you've barely been coupled for like 2-3 days. What do you mean you're being loyal? These people have already come up with a game plan. I think they've decided that if I stick with my girl, she's going to save me. I'm going to save her until the very end. I think Love Island Australia is pre-recorded, so they know there's no chance that their girl could dump them because it's pre-recorded, so there's no public voting. The producers are going to decide who they keep on the show. And it's like, well, if people are going to play games, then send them home. Send them home. If people are going to be predictable and try to manipulate the show, send them home because it's very obvious that they don't like each other the way they're making out, and they're trying to make out and pretend so that the new bombshells don't pick them, and we're going to do it. We're going to get the bombshells to pick them. That way we create havoc. This villa is actually about to drive me insane, and Sydney is right that these people are behaving as though they are married. It's becoming boring. Everyone is already territorial, and it's only week 2. Like, tell me what will happen by week 4. They better not have Casa because no one will want to have their head turned. Anyway, all the islanders take pictures. They take selfies in their couples, but Zayn and Santi don't. And then Sydney is about to take a picture when Zayn offers to take a picture for her. He just goes to pick up something and then he comes back. He pulls her for a chat. They're busy having a chat. You're having Taylor and M wanting to go for a chat because initially Taylor kicked off because he was upset that why did M kiss Steph when they went in the booth. He thought out of respect she shouldn't have kissed him because he didn't kiss, and it's like, it's a game. It's a game. She just didn't walk up to him and tongue him. It was actually a game. That's why she went and she kissed him. So I don't get where you're coming from and why you're making such a big deal about it. And I think he felt bad after that. So he was going to pull her for a second chat. That's when they saw Zanti crying and they went upstairs with Zanti. And it's like, make it make sense. Why is she crying? I love Zanti. She's my girl. But why is she crying? It's not that big a deal. It really isn't. And so she shouldn't be making a big deal out of it. Otherwise, this guy, his head is going to become too big and he's going to actually play her. So it turns out she's crying because Zayn didn't pull her for a chat. Zayn is still waffling off with, Sydney. He has no idea what's going on. And then you have little Indigo run and be the gossip mouth and sort of report that, oh, Zanti's crying. And it's like, why are you reporting? Why are you the tattletale? Leave him alone. If he's interested in his girl, he's going to follow her. I don't think he has the emotional intelligence for Zanti. I don't think so. Because even after he was told, he ran and he told Hannah to go and check on Zanti. And it's like, did he do that? Or did the producer say, don't go and speak to her for now? Because Hannah ran up to speak to her. And Zanti is right to say she looks crazy because they've only been coupled, according to Zanti, for 4 days. And already she's crying that, why is he talking to somebody else? Why is he not following me? And it's like, nah, that ain't it. He doesn't have the emotional intelligence or the capacity to recognize how to sort of behave or react in such a situation. He actually himself said that I don't do very well with crying girls. I just give them a shoulder rub and that's it. And so for her to cry over that didn't make sense. I like the fact that Dylan was there consoling her, but at the same time, I know someone in the comments was saying Dylan should recouple with Zanti. I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. I think Dylan is better off with someone who is more emotionally intelligent. I think Zanti still has a bit of growing to do, especially given the fact that she's crying because her couple or her partner is chatting to somebody else. That is Love Island, love. That is Love Island. You should be open to getting to know other people. I don't get why you're crying. Finally, Zayn decides to pull Zanti for a chat, and it's like, where have you been? Nobody else should have been comforting her. If you say you care about her, then you should have been comforting her. But at the same time, I feel like it's just a tantrum that's not necessary. She really didn't need to cry. It's not that big a deal. She knows she's on Love Island. She knows what she signed up for. Yes, she's one of my favorites, but I didn't like this. This gave very immature vibes. And he's trying to console her, and she says, well, he didn't compliment her clothing. And it's like, Zanti, please don't annoy me. I really love you. I really am supporting and rooting for you. I don't need to suddenly turn on you, so please behave yourself. Anyway, you have Mimi having a conversation with Steph, and she's sort of, well, they're discussing his recoupling up with Sophie and how that came to be. And I feel like Mimi felt like she should have been chosen, because why else would she tell him that, if I had your powers, I would be recoupling every 10 minutes? It's more or less her telling him that I'm available, you can steal me. I feel like with Steph, he decided to be respectful to Dylan. This is why he didn't pick Mimi, and he decided to go with Sophie, even though he had a stronger connection with Sophie. So a text message comes in that the gods want to recouple, so everybody gathers around the pool deck. And I feel like this was producer driven. Even Mimi sort of encouraging, Steph to recouple was producer driven, because you have, after seeing the way Zanti was crying and the way she was holding on for dear life to Zayn, I don't understand how Sydney would have chosen to couple up with Zayn. I know they have a better connection. I feel like with Sydney, Zayn would be in a better position than being with Zanti. Zanti's cute and all, but I think eventually they would become boring. There wouldn't be that much of a storyline because his love triangle is not seeming to fish, and I think he is refusing to sort of entertain Sophie. I think Sophie is on board to sort of try and push that, and the producers are encouraging her, but I think Zayn is not on board, and I think the producers have decided to come up with something else. So you have Sydney choose to couple up with Zayn. Am I surprised? No, they had a very good chat before, so that makes sense. For Zanti to start crying and saying, I hate this place, girl, if you don't like it, go home. They can bring back Alicia. Alicia's entertainment gold. If you don't like it, go home. And for her to say we're no longer friends with Sydney, it's like, Sydney doesn't need your friendship. She is getting paid big bucks to be on the show. I don't think she'll just come just for the sake of it. They have to be paying her something in order for her to come and appear on the show. And it's good for her because it gives her the crossover to America. So she's really not there for your friendship. You then have Steph choose to couple up with Mimi. What does that mean? It's sad that he's chosen Mimi. I think Mimi really wanted to be picked, and I think the producers decided that this would make more sense and this would be more spicy because they want the drama, and at the moment there doesn't appear to be any drama. And sadly, this leaves my guy Dylan single, and I'm now worried about Dylan, that what's going to happen to him, because I don't want him to go home. So I am nervous, and he had lived up to his promise to Mimi that he wouldn't get to know any other girl until he had got to know her. So hopefully, I was hoping they would bring in a bombshell, a girl, but they're bringing in a guy, and the guy they're bringing, it seems like they went to some sort of, outback and just picked up the first person they came across and they said, he's a bombshell. He's not a bombshell. He's not going to turn anybody's head. He should be the first person to go home. He should be. Anyway, thanks guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and click the link in my video to watch my review from episode 6. Bye guys.